Hi and welcome. What we're going to do today is a breathwork technique that's going to allow us to actually give some relief to the emotional charge in our body. And where our emotions sit in our bodies, or our dominant emotions, which is rage and anger here, shame and guilt here, is in and around this rib cage. So it's really important that we give space. So often we're shrinking and contracting these things, and people who experience anxiety feel it in this area of the body. So our intention is really just to give space where we often contract to protect ourselves. So I actually like to put my hands here so I can actually feel that expansion as we do. So let's just actually bring the breath in now. And where we want to bring it in is into the lower belly as the first point, and then actually allow the ribs to expand left and right. So on this next inhale, feel this breath coming in, into the lower belly, and go wide left and right. And then on the exhale, just allowing everything to soften and relax in. And again, breathing into the lower belly, creating space for all of your organs underneath here. And then as you exhale, you soften and you let go. We want to make sure that we're not doing effort from our shoulders to bring that air in. So bringing that air in softly and generously into the belly, creating that space again. And then letting go. We want to think effortlessly. We want to actually think that breath, inviting it in softly, generously, spaciously, and then letting go. Notice how it is that your hands feel. Maybe your hands feel really comforting here on the ribs. Notice how it expands. And then letting go, and then notice how it comes in. And again, use your hands and notice how it feels to have your hands on your ribs here. It might actually feel really comforting and supporting to actually take the space that maybe we're not often brave or courageous enough to do. So here we go, breathing in again, taking that space, really letting the ribs expand, and then letting go. And I'm using my fingers here to kind of like demonstrate what I would want the ribs to do, like where they actually have the ability to really expand out and then to also come in. Following that in breath, lower belly first, going wide left and right with the ribs, giving space. And then letting go. And what we haven't done is given attention to the back part of ourselves. So let's again, breathing into the lower belly, but this time let's feel the back of the ribs really expanding, going wide. Again, don't push with the shoulders, really allow the space to go wide, and then soft with yourself as you let go. So this is a great exercise for anybody who experiences anxiety or anybody who's actually got that hyperventilation breath that happens here. We're retraining, we're relearning how to actually take space for our inner world while our outer world is very busy. So getting to know that inner world on that in-breath, really feel the space, go wide left and right. Really think, often we think to go up with our breath. What I want is that you actually really go wide with your breath and then letting go. The major part of our lungs is actually much more shorter. Our survival breath actually happens up here. So we're often pushing, pushing, pushing. We're changing that pattern, relearning together how to actually come into more of our center. Breathing in, belly, go wide, left and right, and then really allowing it to come back in softly and easily. So what you might start to notice too is the diaphragm. What happens when it has more space? The lungs respond differently and the pelvic floor responds differently. So you start to actually, all of these parts, it's not one part is being affected, the whole part is being affected. So maybe you notice this change, maybe you start to become heavier in your seat. And together we're just going to breathe, relearning how to take this space. Belly going wide left and right, and then letting go. Again, just acknowledging and making sure that we're not pulling up with our shoulders or our jaw, just allowing the air to fill us from inside, and then to be soft and effortless on the exhale, and letting go. And what's really nice about this kind of breath that we're doing, this anxiety that we often feel here, this emotional charge, is actually something, when we give it space, creates a real deliciousness, I like to say, to life. Yeah, when we access our belly, we can connect with our wants and desires, our personal experience of the world. So again, giving that space, honoring that part of yourself with breath, and then letting go. Again, breathing into the lower belly, into the ribs, into the back of the ribs, the front of the ribs, going wide, and then letting go. And now just notice what is, notice what's changed, what you've woken up. And what I mean by that, get the mind to be curious about the bodily sensations. Notice how your feet feel on the ground. Notice how your ass is sitting on the chair. Notice how your belly is holding or how it's relaxing. Keeping the breath while we're exploring the experience of what is. So you still have the space and the softness happening in and around the body while we move our attention around to get to know more parts of ourselves in this freer state. Maybe you feel a heaviness in the arms and the shoulders that have always been pulling up. So allowing that softness, allowing that freedom and peace to kind of be experienced while honoring this beautiful center and this emotional charge that we often hold here. So I invite you now to take your belly and to take your breath with you today into whatever it is that whatever activities that you have going forward. Enjoy.